If you are a subscriber, sometime in the next few days, we're going to send out a questionnaire, and we're interested in your feedback on this one. It means the world to us that you guys take the time that you do to watch our videos. And through this questionnaire, again, if you're a subscriber, we just want to make sure that we're continuing to give you what you want to see.
Take me back to the old dirt road where Mama and Papa used to go. Let's sing all them songs from a long time ago and pine for them old days of yore. Well, let me run through the breeze like the leaves on the trees. Let me fly like the leaves when they fall. Well, let my mind go serene like a cool water stream that runs from the mountain so tall. Oh, take me back down the old dirt road.
We just picked up about 20 bales of hay. Our friend of ours had hooked us up with some grass hay. Normally we feed our goats alfalfa hay, but they're so picky. They pick through and they leave mostly the stems and on the ground. And so we have about 6 inches of stems on top of
A foot and a half of snow.
Yeah, a bunch of snow.
It's not melting.
No. And these bales are much bigger, so they should probably last us a little bit longer. And we're feeding more because they are nursing moms. They seem to be eating a little bit more too.
So, but the main thing is we can see, we're 15 miles from our place. We can see the little valley where our house is, and we can see a gnarly storm ripping in there, and we may be unloading the hay in a snowstorm.
Yeah, we got to get this covered up as soon as we can.
Our place is right up in those mountains right there.
Can we teach you an old farm girl trick?
Please.
When I don't carry my pocket knife?
Who taught you that?
My dad.
And if you're gonna be like your dad, you better get them all the baling twine out of there and braid them all up and hang them from the fence like you used to do.
Super organized. Mama, I don't do it as well as you.
It's me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to get back on the skid steer and get the skid steer figured out. I went into town and I picked up a T, a gauge, and a piece of hydraulic hose so I can run a gauge up, basically let it sit in my lap while I'm running the machine. And it's a gauge specifically for the drive motors. So I can now test the drive motors in that point when the machine locks up, figure out which drive motor is losing pressure, and just kind of, this is the next step in the process of elimination. The only part that's fighting me on this is the weather. It's snowing. The rest of the week looks really good, but it is snowing right here and now. But I'm tired of sitting inside, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and get this figured out real quick and just drive the skid steer around a little bit and see what happens. Okay, I've been looking at the manual, just kind of going over things, and there's two other pressure relief valves on the controls. And I thought to myself, I might as well go through the process of just cleaning them and make sure everything's okay. Although I don't think it has anything to do with that side. I want to pull them out and clean them if possible. I worked on the skid steer for a couple of hours a couple of days ago. Then the weather got really bad, and I haven't touched it for a couple of days. The machine ran great for 30 minutes. After putting that gauge in line to the drive motors, I saw that I had sufficient pressure for 30 minutes until I turned the machine off. I literally did not get out of the machine. I turned it off, turned it right back on, and I could not get more than 100 PSI to the drive motors. So there's still part of me that thinks that it could be something in the solenoids. It's just so, it's either that or drive motors or the pump, right? It's basically that simple. But I'm going to try one last thing before I just, again, I cleaned the lower solenoids, but I didn't swap the lower solenoids. I swapped the upper ones that I believe controls the forward and backwards, but does not control the flow to the drive motors. So and then the other thing I'm going to try is I'm going to run a couple of wires directly from the battery. It was recommended that I do that from the battery to the solenoids and see if that makes a difference. Everything I can possibly do before I determine, in fact, that I'm replacing at least a drive motor, if not two drive motors, and or a pump, because at that point it gets really, really expensive. Okay, these two solenoids right here is where the gauge is teed in front of these two solenoids. I believe these two solenoids control each side of the control the drive motors. I am going to reverse these two positions, and then I'm going to unplug them and swap the plugs as well. And if the problem switches from the right side to the left side, so far I've had problems on the right side, but if the problem switches, then I think it's telling me I got a solenoid issue versus a drive motor issue. So this is a simple thing that I can do before I start making some decisions about drive motors. So it's not too much effort to change those out. So I want to do that real quick before I run this thing around again. Whatever I just did with the solenoids, now it will not move. Had 290 PSI. I'm gonna check into what those solenoids cost to replace. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Anyway, continuing on with the saga of the skid steer here. So Ruby and I just spent the last hour and a half basically driving around to every Tractor Supply place that I could find that might possibly have those solenoids. Nobody had them. We came back home. I ordered them online. They'll be here in 3 to 5 days. I did just try one more thing. The two solenoids that are controlling the drive motors, I just switched the magnetic portion of it, the electrical portion of it, just for fun. I'm gonna try one more time and see if it makes a difference. Now exactly what I was afraid was going to happen happened. The dang skid steer is stuck down there until it wants to work again. Anyway, parts will be here on Saturday. Now I just got to figure out how I'm going to get this up the hill.